Iran says it's not looking for war but will respond appropriately to Saturday's Israeli airstrikes. The final push for votes in the US presidential election ramps up. Donald Trump speaks to thousands in New York, while Kamala Harris heads back to that all-important state, Pennsylvania. And Georgia's president rejects the ruling party's announcement that it won Saturday's parliamentary election. International observers are reporting numerous violations in Georgia's parliamentary election. The ruling party, Georgian Dream, which has close ties to Russia, has been declared the winner by local officials. But foreign observers have heard allegations of vote buying, divisive campaign rhetoric and voter intimidation. Well, the elections are being seen as one of the most important since Georgia won independence from the Soviet Union in 1991. The former president of Bolivia, Evo Morales, says he has filed a complaint with the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights, formally accusing government agents of trying to assassinate him. Mr. Morales released this video saying that his car came under sustained gunfire with a bullet passing, quote, centimetres from his head. He blamed the alleged attack on President Luis Arce, a former ally turned political rival. Mr. Arce said that the matter would be immediately investigated and condemned all political violence. In Uruguay, voting has been taking place in presidential elections. 11 candidates are looking to replace the outgoing centre-right president, Luis Lacalle Pou. Some polling suggests that the result will likely go to a runoff between the top two contenders in November. Results from the second round of the Lithuanian parliamentary election give the opposition Social Democrats a clear lead. The leader said that her party, with its two partners, would have enough MPs to form a majority government. The Homeland Union, which leads the current governing coalition, has acknowledged defeat. The election campaign focused heavily on domestic issues like the rising cost of living. Now, an arthritic 28-year-old vulture has been given a stem cell treatment in what conservationists say is a turning point for wildlife medicine. Bernard, a Eurasian black vulture, had a special leg injection in a procedure that researchers claim is a UK first.
Chaos and political drama rock Japan's snap election, with the country's ruling coalition suffering a rare defeat. Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba describes the result as a tough ride for his scandal-hit Liberal Democratic Party. It's unclear who'll form the next government.
Our headlines today. Labour suspends the MP Mike Amesbury after footage shows him punching a man. Mr Amesbury has said he felt threatened.
A bizarre distraction for the Labour Party just days before their first budget in 14 years.
Yes, that budget means it's a big week for the Chancellor as she prepares to deliver Labour's first budget in 14 years. But with talk of big tax rises on the way, I'll assess the likely impact on people, businesses and the economy.
It's the final push for votes in the US presidential election ramping up. Donald Trump speaks to thousands in New York, while Kamala Harris heads to the must-win state of Pennsylvania.
Children will confide in a telephone helpline.
An urgent appeal for more volunteers. Childline, started almost 40 years ago by Dame Esther Ranson, says it's struggling to help the young people who desperately need its support. So let's have a look at the papers. The front page of the Daily Mail is dominated by that picture of Labour MP Mike Amesbury after footage appeared to show him punching a man to the ground. The Runcorn and Helsby MP has been suspended from the party and has had the whip withdrawn.
Same story features on the front of the Times this morning as well, showing images taken from that CCTV footage, which appears to show that altercation. We'll have more on the story later in the programme. And we'll be speaking to Labour's Pat McFadden at 7:30.
And we will be speaking to him about the fact there are just 2 days to go until the Chancellor delivers the new Labour government budget. The Guardian is looking at the Prime Minister's preparations. Sir Keir Starmer set to give a speech in the West Midlands today, where he's expected to defend his party's approach to the economy.
And that budget discussion continues in the Telegraph as well today. The former Chancellor, Jeremy Hunt, he's accused the budget watchdog of being biased towards Rachel Reeves, the new Chancellor. In a letter to the Office for Budget Responsibility, Mr Hunt said its decision to publish a review of Labour's claim that the British economy has a £22 billion black hole on the same day as the budget this Wednesday is not consistent with political impartiality. That's going to run and run, isn't it, that argument?
It really is very interesting. A quick look inside the papers this morning. John, be honest. I'm not going to ask you your weight.
Well, I'm very glad to hear it.
But when someone asks, how honest are you?
No, I'm not at all honest.
Well, you're not alone.
It's like you're taking a journey or going to the doctor and you scroll back and then you scroll forward a little bit.
It's a bit like how many units of alcohol do you have weekly? Hardly any.
Massively underestimate, yeah.
The majority of Britons are so optimistic about their weight that the state of their health that it could be putting them at risk of deadly complications. So analysis of data from 600,000 adults showed that we cannot be trusted to be truthful about weight. So it said 2/3 have told a fib in some way about their weight. But it's quite dangerous because it can lead to high blood pressure, high cholesterol, putting them at risk of heart attacks and strokes. I think I have, like, quite a big window of weight, depending on how much indulgence the weekend has had, things like that, menstrual cycle, and so I will always err on the side of the lower.
And on this Monday morning, how was your weekend?
I've swerved the Monday way in this week.
Nina's got some birthday cake coming later.
Oh,
happy
yeah.
birthday.
Thank you very much. The big 4-4.
Don't underestimate that.
No, that's true. Pile on the calories today. It's allowed on your birthday. In fact, it's obligatory, isn't it?
Totally.
London's small businesses fear they may be worse off after the new government's first budget. It comes as the Chancellor is expected to raise the amount of national insurance paid by employers. The government has warned Wednesday's financial statement will include tough choices to bridge a funding gap. But some small firms say they're worried.
I keep hearing that there is going to be a potential increase in employers' national insurance. And if that were the case, it's going to hurt. We need things to start coming down. Doesn't matter where it's from, whether it's VAT, whether it's corporation tax. But if the costs continue to go up, no matter how small, it will affect us as a small business.
Albert Bridge will be closed to vehicles for the next 4 days as essential repairs are carried out. Engineers are replacing some of the decking and lights on the bridge over the half-term. The listed crossing will still be open to pedestrians, and drivers are being warned to allow extra time for their journeys while diversions are in place. Rail passengers in South London are being advised to plan ahead this week as Network Rail continues upgrading signalling systems. Thameslink, Southern and Overground services are affected between Crystal Palace, Tulse Hill and Peckham Rye. Replacement buses will be operating. It's part of a £400 million programme of work aimed at reducing delays. 2 macaw parrots have been returned to London Zoo 6 days after they flew away. Lily and Margot were spotted by a family in their garden in Cambridgeshire. The pair were tracked down by the zoo's bird keepers.
And the Radio 2 DJ, Johnny Walker, has signed off for the last time after a broadcasting career which lasted nearly 6 decades.
Yeah, at the age of 79, he's stepping down because of ill health. On his final Sounds of the 70s on Radio 2, he played his favourite songs instead of taking requests. He said he would miss the listeners he'd connected with for so long.
The day has come I've always dreaded, really. My last ever radio show, and most certainly my last Sounds of the 70s. I'll miss you a lot, and it's been great connecting up for all these years. We've done a lot of living together, you and I.
Oh, bless him.
Oh,
cheers, Johnny. Well done.
Yeah.
What a moment that was. And if anyone has deserved the right to pick their songs for their favourite final show, I think it's Johnny Walker.
Yeah, enjoy your retirement.
Today at 1, the Prime Minister says the UK has to embrace the harsh light of fiscal reality as Labour prepares to deliver its first budget in 14 years. The Chancellor needs to find an extra £40 billion. The Conservatives have accused Sir Keir Starmer of running a government of broken promises.
Things are worse than we could possibly have expected during the election. And the budget will set that out very clearly.
Also on the programme, Manchester United sack their manager Erik ten Hag after 2.5 years in charge at Old Trafford. Far-right activist Stephen Yaxley Lennon, better known as Tommy Robinson, is jailed for 18 months for contempt of court. And an island of garbage. Donald Trump's presidential campaign distances itself from the comedian who made that remark about Puerto Rico on stage at an election rally.
Tonight at 6, a BBC investigation tracks down a people smuggler who's now claiming asylum here in the UK. He's Vietnamese and claims to have helped over 1,000 people cross the channel in small boats.
I'm good at this work. People trust me. I never fail.
How do you justify what you do here? You've come to the UK illegally. You're still breaking the law.
I just do paperwork. I don't force them to take certain routes.
This has been the deadliest year so far for lives lost crossing the channel. Also on the programme, Keir Starmer says the cap on bus fares in England will be raised in the budget from £2 to £3. After months of speculation, Manchester United call time on Erik ten Hag. He's sacked after a run of poor results.
I'm in the US doing a road trip across the swing states speaking to young voters. Tonight they're telling me their thoughts on gun laws ahead of next week's vote.
And Lily and Margot's big adventure. We meet the McCaws who decided to migrate from London Zoo up the M1 to Cambridgeshire.
On BBC London, we're with two small businesses in the capital concerned about forthcoming financial squeezes that could be coming in Wednesday's budget.
Why are so many Vietnamese people risking their life to cross the channel to come to the UK? The BBC talks to a people smuggler. And we talk to Timothy Chalamet lookalike about what happened when the film star gate-crashed an event full of people who think they do look like the actor. Around the world and across the UK, this is The World Today on BBC News.
Three Just Stop Oil activists have been banned from protesting in London ahead of their trial for throwing soup over two Van Gogh paintings, allegedly damaging frames. Stephen Simpson, Mary Somerville and Philippa Green are accused of targeting both versions of the artist's Sunflowers works at the National Gallery last month. All three deny criminal damage. And a finance worker has been sentenced to community service after drunkenly abusing workers and fellow passengers on a flight from Mallorca to Gatwick. Harrison Tilson hit a crew member when they tried to stop him attacking a passenger.
But if the costs continue to go up, no matter how small, it will affect us as a small business. We will struggle.
Also ahead this evening, Dejon Campbell, the 15-year-old fatally stabbed by a zombie knife in Woolwich, is laid to rest in Bromley. From twice homeless teenager to tech multi-millionaire, why this Londoner has topped a list of influential Black Britons. And the missing McCaws found safe and sound 60 miles away in rural Cambridgeshire. The far-right activist Tommy Robinson has been jailed for 18 months after admitting contempt of court by repeating false claims against a Syrian refugee. Robinson admitted 10 breaches of a High Court order during a hearing earlier today. Members of an anti-establishment cult have been jailed for up to 7 years for storming a court with handcuffs and trying to kidnap a coroner. The group had tried to shut down Essex Coroner's Court in Chelmsford in April last year. A woman from Westbourne Park has been fined almost £2,000 after dumped waste, including a box with her name and address on it, was found 20 miles away in Biggin Hill. The rubbish was discovered blocking a pathway by Bromley Council in May.